Welcome back to the Campus Live. My name is Sally Sutole and I am your host. Today we have an exciting episode, so do make sure that you stay tuned. Charles Kettering once said that every father should remember that his son will follow his example and not his advice. Our esteemed Vice Chancellor, alongside the Transformation Unit, led a conversation about fatherlessness in our society. And Bongani went to check it out.
Welcome again, UJTV viewers. My name is Bongani Mncube, and today I'm at the UJ Library, of course, at APK Kingsway campus, attending the Men's Forum for the year 2023. If you are not here, I wonder, where are you? Because this is a sensitive topic that impacts a lot of people. And of course, today we are under the theme of So Where Are the Fathers? The impact of a fatherless society. And guess who's spearheading it? Our very own Vice Chancellor, Professor Litlo Kwampedi, and it is brought to us by the Transformation Unit. The purpose of this forum is to establish or create a platform for dialogue that will steer our communities in producing solutions that will aid the change we want to see. Hence, I still ask, if you are not joining us today at APK, where are you? Because your voice matters. Therefore, without further ado, let's go inside and see what's going to be happening. We're going to get you involved, get you in the know. UJTV is here for you. All you need to do is make sure that you are glued to your screen.
I say, look, I have to be like him, but in many ways, and I'm like, why is fatherlessness? I lost my father at the age of 6. Who is a father? These are the questions I ask myself.
We are here with the Vice Chancellor, Professor Litlo Kwampedi. He was spearheading the important conversation that we were having, which is the Men's Forum for the year 2023. Prof, how are you feeling after such a big forum?
Yes, I feel like emotionally, a heavy load has been removed from my shoulders. But at the same time, I had to relieve certain things. You were there. You heard me talk about how sometimes I wish my dad was there. So it really reminded me of many things and how far one has come as a person who has lost a dad at a very young age. So I'm happy and sad at the same time, but happy that a lot of students attended. I was counting. I counted around 100. So a lot of people are interested in this topic and this type of a topic, and we definitely have to continue to work on this important issue.
Literally, Prof, as you are saying, it is an important topic which got all the students to come and attend. And I heard you attest. Why is this topic so personal to you? Because your speech, you mentioned that it is sincere to you, it is dear to you.
Look, I'll tell you, as you have heard, I lost my father at the age of 6. So I grew up without my dad. Not that he disappeared or anything of that sort, So I had really amazing time, when my dad was alive, me and my siblings. And when he passed on, things changed overnight, But, it made us the people we are today. And I guess, if you grow up without your dad, sometimes you ask yourself, what if? And as I said during the forum, that there are days that I wish my father was there. And saying to me, son, I'm proud of you. For example, when I was inaugurated as the Vice Chancellor, it's one of those emotional days and so on. But it is what it is. There are positive things, that stayed with me for the short life, he had with us. That today, I'm doing. And I'm trying very hard to be a present father to my son and a loving one, and not just the so-called ATM father, who think when they give money, then it's enough, because often it's more than that. It's about being there, and really guiding, the children.
Yes, sir. Indeed, Prof, as you mentioning, I think even during the forum itself, we are exposed to complexities of fatherhood, the different types of fathers that some may not know because it has been subjective experience. And given that, I must commend you for setting an example for us. We saw you during the inauguration. You had your family, the nuclear family that is rare in our Black families. So from here, Prof, with work in association with the Transformation Unit, where to with this men's forum? Can we expect another one soon?
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say, men's forum. I don't want to brand it, but one thing I can tell you, this is an annual event. Is it enough? Definitely not. So we need to look at ways and means in which we could supplement this, as we heard from the Secretary General of the SRC, that we need more opportunities to engage on these issues, because these issues are complex and you cannot address them at once. So definitely there will be further engagements to see how we can complement this forum to ensure that these important and complex themes, are always at the top of our minds. So, there are leads. You heard from Dr. Garth when he said he's prepared to work with us. And I looked at the Director Transformation, as I saw her nodding. So we'll be following up on such leads and create more opportunities for us to have meaningful conversation around these topics, as difficult as they may be. Remember, one of our values is conversation. And we'll build on this, I can assure you. Yeah.
Most definitely. And for those that do not know, Dr. Garth is a co-founder of Soul City, right, yeah. And it's going to be a big one for the institution. And I believe as part of our aims as the University of Johannesburg to give a transformation to society, impact change. And for that, we really thank you, Prof.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and for taking time to come and chat with me. And I value the good job that you are doing.
Thank you so much.
UJTV rocks, eh?
UJTV rocks. You've had it from our Vice Chancellor. Thank you so much.
I want to ask if you could take this and remember this day. And it's the beginning of many engagements. And these are local people, myself included. So there's nothing for us. Yeah, thank you so much. You want to come there.
Thank you.
We are still here attending the Men's Forum 2023, of course, brought to you by the Transformation Unit. I'm joined by MX Sigege from the Transformation Unit. He's the Senior Manager. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, in yourself?
Wonderful, thanks. I would like to know more about the Transformation Unit. Of course, today's event was big and we'll learn more about it. But for now, what is Transformation Unit? For those who do not know.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. So, you know what? The Transformation Office is actually responsible for different initiatives that actually talk to transformation, from an element of gender to diversity and inclusion, ethical issues within the university, having to also map up the university values as well. We are actually within the space of students and also staff members as well, but above everything, we're responsible for actually directing, the culture of the university in terms of actually having to create an inclusive university for all our staff and students as well.
Yes. So with regard to the theme of so where are the fathers, how did that come about? What issues did you identify within the institution that you felt like we need to address this?
So what we have found is the fact that we do understand that father, or let me just say absenteeism of fathers, actually contribute a great deal to our students. And what we wanted to address was to say, as men within the with this in university, what can we do to actually come together, influence and maybe find ourselves also mentoring the young ones that perhaps need a father role. Hence, we wanted to start with with a description of where are the fathers. What kind of nation are we? What kind of universities are we? Or what is our role as a university to actually bring about the issues around involving men in actually the lives of young men as well? And we do hope that today's function would also be a build-up to many other discussions that actually looks at men's issues in a broader light. And we talk about the issues of mental health. We actually talk about, risky student behavior, and of course, just risky behavior in general. But more than anything, we hope that, matured men would actually then also mentor young men, because we see that there's a need in that area where young people come into the university spaces and say, I don't have a father. I don't have a father figure. How can you help me as an institution? Because we have that responsibility at the end of the day to play a mentorship role, so that when young ones go out there, they actually contribute positively towards the economic development, towards also social development as well in that regard.
That is true indeed. As we heard from the panelists themselves and the questions that were thrown, we could understand the complexities around absenteeism of fathers in our society. So given today's event and the participation, as the VC had mentioned that the participants were many, the guests that we had. So would you say that it was indeed a success, the event, based on your expectations as the transformation unit?
Right now, I actually feel like I'm actually in another show being asked, did this go well? I would say from myself, most definitely it went well, but it can go better if we actually get more young men coming through, if we can also get staff members coming through, getting involved, because we need everyone. Unfortunately, as a small group, we can't do enough. Yes, bit by bit we'll get there, but we want everyone within the university to be involved in this program in that regard.
And speaking on that, are there any plans that probably you guys have in the pipeline to ensure that this vision is met, that more people are involved in this project? As the SR Tato from SRC also mentioned that other initiatives or within the institution should also come on board so that we tackle this problem that we're encountering.
So what we actually have in place is the different programs that continue throughout the year. What you need to understand is that whenever our first years also come into the residence spaces especially, you'll see that we have our culture integration sessions. With these particular sessions, then we also have conversations addressing risky behavior, how to behave, what is the culture for us as a university. As a young man, how would you also address the next person? You know, even looking at GBV as well, because we do understand that it's also a challenge. Apart from that, we then also have our mentorship programs, but more than anything, we rely on our stakeholders. Just like the SRC said, we are actually going to come through. We need this help. Stakeholders from the VC's office, student affairs, PsychEd, the Center for Health and Wellness, of course, the media as well. And I believe that, for example, with UJ Relations being at the forefront of actually having to promote our programs, we'll be able to reach more students. We'll be actually to be able to reach the broader community as well.
Yes, indeed. And I like that you touched on the broader community. You guys brought in Dr. Garth, who was a co-founder of Soul City. What does that mean for transformation as well? Echoing it, the message that you guys want to spread out to society.
I think we need to also take into, we need to appreciate the fact that there are people doing work out there. And we need to take advantage of that. Not just actually saying that we are a university, we will rely only on our resources. You need to also look at who's doing work that you can also then say, come through, help us. Because at the end of the day, remember, the university contributes back to the society. Hence, we then talk about the societal impact, that everything that we do in the university needs to then also touch and give back to the society. Hence, at the end of the day, we'll still then invite people within our communities to also come and help us so that we have a greater impact overall.
Oh. That being said, thank you so much, MX. That is indeed, viewers, you should be able to understand that UJ also functions within the broader society, and fatherless society is something that we wish to move away from, educate the young people that are coming into the institution, and also let the elderly coach, mold, and mentor, just as the transformation unit is doing unto us. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're still going to get more. We came, we saw, and as promised, it was highly informative. As you can see behind me, it's empty, like no one was ever here, because the information was a lot and they had to go home with it. And now they're going to share amongst the society, and of course, starting with UJ, starting internally, to teach more about these sensitive topics, such as a fatherless society. We heard the impact from our panelists who gave account of how they view this matter, and we had questions from the audience, which they gave us in detail what they think it is. And of course, we could not get into a definitive definition of a fatherless society, but we did have a dialogue, a conversation that will indeed steer our communities in producing solutions that we want to see. Our panel was very decorated, I assure you. We had our Vice Chancellor, Professor Litlo Kwampedi. We had Tato from the SRC. We had Dr. Garth, who's the co-founder of Heartlines, the people that are responsible for Soul City, and we had Sister Gail. Imagine that. It was very complex, and so was the topic. We had females who were attending. It was not only men, but it was indeed the Men's Forum for the year 2023. Without further ado, for me, that was it.
It is important that we need to continue having this conversation. Now, as Africans, we need to embrace our African heritage. And Bongani had the pleasure of attending an event at the Operative where the Student Affair conducted an ancestor calling day. Let's check it out.
Welcome, UJTV viewers. Well, I'm in my African attire, which is my Zulu regalia, here to embrace our ancestors for the Ancestor Day at OP Reef Hall at UJAPK campus. So, of course, right now, it's already happening. We're already embracing. We're calling upon our ancestors to join us, and it's raining outside. We are going to be talking to the people that are participating in this amazing heritage, historic event of the African people. There you go. Stick around to find out more. Welcome again, UJTV viewers. We are inside OP Reef Hall to celebrate Ancestors Day. And right now we are joined by Gogo Queen to tell us more about this day and get to learn about it more. Gogo Queen, welcome.
Thokozani ngiyabonga.
It is, for me, it was the first time hearing about Ancestors Day. And as an African, it gives me pride and joy to be here. Can you tell us, when did the day start and what does it stand for?
Right. If I'm not mistaken, the day started last year, of which they decided that we should celebrate National Ancestors Day. It stands for, as a Black person, you know that it's actually stands for you celebrating your ancestors, because as a Black person, you know that we all have ancestors, and we saw it fit that we should celebrate them each and every year. We should actually have a day of which is put in the calendar rather to actually celebrate it, and also have with our ancestors. Yeah, thank you.
And it's quite important, the relationship of especially us as young people. It's important that we have this connection with our ancestors. So for us, of course, the society has changed. We are embarking for IR. What does it mean? How can young people connect or have that relationship with ancestors in this digital world?
All right. I would like to say that the digital world and also the ancestral world, if I could put it like that, is two different things. You can be a youth in today, as we say in UJ for IR, but still be a traditional person like myself. I am very traditional. However, because we're living in today's life, it forces me to be for IR in the for IR generation. However, it doesn't mean that you have to actually live your tradition behind just because the world is revolving around 4IR. You have to be you have to always acknowledge your ancestors regardless of how the world is changing.
So right now, I would say, what are some of the practices that young people can engage in to embrace their ancestors?
All right. The most common one is ukupahla. That we call it ukupahla. In my language, we call it upasa. I'm Venda, by the way. So one thing I believe every person, a young person, has to know is ukupahla. How do you talk to your own ancestors? Because ukupahla kwam nokupahla komunye umuntu akufani. So you have to know from where you're coming from, ukuthi upahla kanjani. How do you connect? How do you talk to your ancestors? And also engage in your traditional activities. Because as youth, we tend to actually neglect those things. When old people go and pasla, we'll be like, no, it's demonic and all those things. But then, like, for the first step that you can actually get to know your lineage and also get to know how to pasla and connect with your ancestors.
True indeed, true indeed. So, given that, commemorating this day, what do you guys hope to achieve in terms of getting more youth to actually appreciate and acknowledge their ancestors? And what are the efforts that you guys have been doing in order for the youth to learn more and come through and celebrate this day with you guys?
All right. Firstly, I would say I make it a point that I make sure that people see that it's not a shame to be traditional. How? I go about wearing my traditional regalia like in peace. I don't have to be shy. You could see another person is going to say what. The second thing, I would say that by this day, by us putting this day, we're actually putting it to the youth out there. Would see, it's not wrong to actually practice your traditional. It's not demonic to actually practice your traditional. Your ancestors are not demons, because at the end of the day, you are going to be someone else's ancestor. So we have to teach them from this young age to actually acknowledge where they're coming from, to acknowledge where their lineage is coming from. So with us having this day today, it's us telling them it's fine. It's okay even within the school premises. It's okay even within the institution. You can see that our fellow staff, fellow students, we actually celebrate this. It does not necessarily mean that you have to have a gift to actually be part of it. You just have to be an African to actually be able to participate.
And true, that takes me to the question that has been burning in me to that. So that if I'm to appreciate my ancestors, does it mean I have to go through the work, I have to have some certain gift, as you were saying. So I think it's quite pleasing to understand that as Africans, we need to learn our history, our heritage, and embrace it. So speaking of embracing that, what do you think the future holds for us if we are to embrace our ancestors? How will the future be in your imagination?
Well, I would say that we are going to a future of which we know where we are coming from. Because it doesn't help us just going, not knowing where we are coming from. At the end of the day, however people do not like it to be said, they will always follow you. Wherever you're coming from will always follow you. So it's better for you to know where you're coming from, and then you will actually know where you are going to.
Which is of paramount importance. Gogo Queen ngiyabonga kakhulu, thokoza gogo. So there you have it, guys. That was Gogo Queen, and she has enlightened us more. And we encourage also the youth to participate and appreciate their ancestors on this historic day. We keep on learning and learning, which is of importance today for the Ancestors Day. And manje, I'm joined by Gogo Malwandle. Gogo Malwandle, welcome to UJTV.
Thank you for having me.
It's definitely our pleasure. We are here at the Ancestors Day. How do you feel about it to actually be part of this historic day, and which is important for us as Africans?
Firstly, the Ancestors Day ibalulekile because seeing abantu besintu, as Africans, we need to embrace our Africanism. We need to embrace our spirituality. And in the African traditional spirituality, it's so underrated, it's so oppressed. So ndiyabulela ukuthi UJ isnike this opportunity ukuthi we can celebrate on home soil, because yazi it's the first ever event like this to happen, where we give abantwana abanomoya, abanobizo, in different ways, a platform to either learn or to teach us, certain things about spirituality. Because into moya, it's not a cut and paste. It's something elunguti uyakhula every day. It's a journey, and I'm so proud of EUJ that it has given us the opportunity for them to see ukuthi abantu bomoya baphila njani, abantu bomoya ba celebrate njani, and thina xa celebrate in this way. And today You know, it's a day of celebration. It's a day of, you know, learning about different beliefs and especially about African traditional spirituality. Because ibalulekile kuthi, and for people to understand that thina abantu abanobizo, abantu abanomoya, it's not something that we can change. You know, you can't change ubizo wako, you can't change ukuba nomoya. It's something that you were born with. It was given to you by your great grandfathers. And for this day to be celebrated, we are actually celebrating heritage yethu as isangoma, as amama prophetu, as abantu abanomoya in general. And we are actually proud of abantwana bethu bemoya, to say that come and celebrate, and also to ask questions about ezinye izinto abangazaziyo that are ziyabahlupha. And again, student affairs, I also work at student affairs. I'm an employee at student affairs. We want to teach those who have friends that have a calling. Ukuthi xa unomngani unobizo or unomoya, xakeka umenza njani. So this event is meant to celebrate and also teach those who do not know about African traditional spirituality, because lentole, it's here to stay. That's the first thing. It's not going anywhere. And as people of abanomoya, we are going to make sure. Obviously, we are guided by people who came before us, who are driving this event. This event asihambiswa ngathi or zihambiswa ngabantu abadala. And for that, we humble ourselves to say, sabulela thongo, sabulela camagwini, and sabulela umoya wethu, makube chosbehele, lemvula. It's showing people that umoya uyaphila. It's not something that you can actually put back and say, I will hold it back and then later on I will take it back. It's inzima. And with journey yomoya, uzohlangana nento ezininzi. It's a painful journey that ends up, when you embrace it, becoming so beautiful. Because Tina, sisa khule moyeni asiyazi, and you know, one thing about umoya is that it's not a one size fits all. So lento yenzaka won't happen to umkhulu or ugogo omunye. So we want them to learn about African traditional spirituality, and bazoyazi, and they need to be proud of who they are. Because if you're not proud of who you are, then you're ashamed of your heritage, you're ashamed of your background. And Tina njengabantu aba proud of what we have been given, busted upon us. And we are humbled, and siyabulela kakhulu, sibulela uthongo, siyacamagwisha. And sifuna abantu bonke, whether ungumswati, ungumsuthu, ungumvenda, umxhosa, ungumzulu, every language, even those who come from Zimbabwe, because we have ispirits abundao, and that is from far outside the borders. So sifuna beze bazojabula nathi, because this is a wonderful day.
And indeed, I think that was really mouthful and really insightful, in a sense that I, as an African person, I also get to embrace my culture, my heritage. And for those students or youth or staff that hasn't attended this event, what are they missing out? What are some of the practices that we're doing here today?
Namhlanje sizocula, namhlanje sizokhuluma ngobizo, namhlanje sizo embrace different gifts ezinayo, because xa sila it's different gifts from different people. You know, xa silapha siphiwe ngokuhlukahlukene, so sifuna bayeze bazobona ukuthi how beautiful this is, because inhle kakhulu. I am even proud to I wish I could scream and shout and say, hey, izani mani, you're missing out on a beautiful day. It's raining. Yabona, bakunetha kubonisa ukuthi ithongo livumile. Ithongo
livumile indeed, and I can attest, the regalia is indeed looking beautiful. The atmosphere is beautiful. I sense peace in this. So given all that, as you said, that umoya is beyond our borders and everything, what does it mean as an African continent? Does it mean that it can unite us? Culture, ancestors can unite us as Africans so that we build forward?
Speaking on uniting, I think culture and spirituality unites us because everyone is born a spiritual being. When you grow, in fact, when you're in your womb, you come out, you're already a spiritual being. So, but ukuthi usisebenzisa njani, ukuthi kumele usebenzise njani, it goes according to imimeya ekhona pha kokwenu. Abanye abantu abathwasi, abanye abantu abasebenzisa umoya wabo ngobuprofetu, but they have, I usually say everyone has an intuition. It's something that tells you, ukuthi don't go there. So, Tina City, come and learn about the other side. Because Nancy other side here too. And then teach us also what you know. So that is it right or is it wrong? Because ubungoma, umoya has been made as if it's something that is evil. We are not evil. We are loving people. Because before anything else comes love. And I think love and religion and culture unite us. And I believe in this place, it's where we're going to get ukuthi sisebenza njani thina abantwana bomoya.
Wow. You guys have heard it. We are so grateful for being here and to have learned so much from Ugogo Malwandle. Ugogo Malwandle, thank you so much.
Siyathokoza.
There you go, UJ people. We've been here, we saw, we learned. Now we're going back to studio.
And that's it from today's exciting episode. My name is Teli Sutole. Until I see you next time on the Campus Live.
The University of Johannesburg, the future reimagined.